Welcome to Diversity Xtra with your host, Don Mckneely.
And welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us again on Diversity Xtra. I'm Don Mckneely, and we appreciate you joining in. Our guest today is Mr. Raymond Cervantes. Mr. Cervantes is the Program Director for the Minority Business Development Agency Business Center here in Dallas. The center is operated by the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council as a part of a grant issued by the Department of Commerce. In his present role, Mr. Cervantes manages the day-to-day operation of the center. Prior to joining MBDA, Mr. Cervantes worked as a public safety investigator for the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, where he performed investigations and inspections. Mr. Cervantes is active in minority community organizations. He is the past president of the Hispanic Bankers Association of Dallas-Fort Worth. He holds an MBA degree and then also attended Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth College. Raymond, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Don. I'm glad to be here.
Well, as we get started, let's talk a little bit about your background before you joined the MBDA. Can you kind of talk to that a little bit?
Yes, that's an interesting story. I kind of grew up in the healthcare industry. My dad was owner of a dental laboratory, a doctor's professional building at Baylor. And I guess he wanted me to become a dentist or go into his profession. And he invited me and my brother to his laboratory. But as soon as we got there, we couldn't wait to leave. I guess that was because we were too young to understand significance of his work. But I guess because of him, I was always interested in science and math. And so I took a lot of science and math courses in college and high school. And when I graduated, I worked for the Food and Drug Administration. That was quite interesting because Food and Drug has jurisdiction over food that goes over interstate commerce, medical devices, medical research, and pharmaceuticals. And so I did investigations and inspections of food items and prosthetic devices and things like this. And it was quite a exciting profession because it was investigative type work and did a lot of research and learned a lot about businesses and how they process foods and pharmaceuticals.
Well, and tell me, if you would, Ray, in terms of the Minority Business Development Agency and the Department of Commerce, can you just tell us a bit about the Department of Commerce and the Minority Business Development Agency, to kind of talk to that a little bit? Yes,
sir, Don. MBDA was actually started on March 5th, 1969, under Executive Order 11458. In that time, it was called Office of Minority Business Enterprise. And then in 1971, it changed to the Minority Business Development Agency. Initially, what OMBI did was to encourage development of minority organizations like chambers of commerce, offices of minority enterprise, and various government agencies. And then when it changed to Minority Business Development Agency, it did more client-centric type work, meaning that they worked one-on-one with minority businesses, and then they also thought that the business industry was better suited at providing management technical assistance to minority businesses. So who they got to operate the centers were people in the business industry, like consultants, certified business enterprise centers, universities, and things like that.
Now, what year did you start with MBDA?
I started in 1998, and I initially started at the lower level, and but it was a very good experience for me. I feel very blessed to work for the agency because during my tenure there, I worked in a lot of different areas in our office. We were an office that covered 11 states, and we work with a lot of different ethnic groups and minority groups. And I traveled throughout our 11-state region and provided management technical assistance and also oversaw business centers. And I also did a minority business development for 13 years, where I did a breakfast and had minority businesses attend our breakfast. I had resources for the breakfast attendees, and also helped them do business to business with each other. Then I also worked on presidential initiatives. One of the main initiatives I worked on was the Stimulus Act. When it came out in 2009, I was appointed person for office to get information on the $864 billion worth of contracts and grants. And I did seminars and workshops telling minority business how to access those contracts and grants. In addition, I work with one of our sister agencies, the National Telecommunication and Information Agency. There was an $8.6 billion broadband grant to increase wireless communications in rural areas. And my role was to identify minority business who could do the wireless infrastructure, and also Native American tribes, universities, and municipalities who could apply for the grant. And then I wrote a white paper on renewable energy, how minorities can go to the renewable energy field. And I looked at 4 sectors: solar, wind, geothermal, landfill gas to energy conversion. And I helped a minority company get a $26 million contract with City Grand Prairie to convert their landfill to energy. And then I co-coordinated a conference in Washington, D.C. on advanced manufacturing. So, and then when I retired, after 25 years, I worked for a wireless infrastructure company where we did 3G to 4G installation for T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, microwave installation, and advanced knowledge systems.
So tell me, Ray, what are the benefits and advantages for minority businesses to develop a relationship or pursue a relationship with the Minority Business Development Agency? Yes,
so the benefits is that they can utilize the minority certification as a tool to help them get in a select playing field. And what our office does is help counsel with these businesses and determine what areas they want to go to. Or do they want to do contracts with the city? Whether they want to do contracts with the state government or federal government? Or do they want to do private industry contracting? So we determine where they want to do and how they want to do it. And of course, we look at their capacity and capabilities. And then we kind of strategize and work from there. Now, if they need financing also, sometimes contracts need financing. And so what we do is we'll consult them with that and then help them develop a loan package where we take to the bank, and then the bankers will look at that and then determine if that's a company suitable to get financing.
In terms of qualifications for developing a relationship with the Minority Business Development Agency, or as it's known, MBDA, what are the qualifications that a minority business needs to have to develop that relationship?
We like to work with businesses who've already been at least established 3 years, and then have some pathway in business. We don't normally work with startups because there's other entities that do that, like the small business development centers. That's their forte. We kind of work with companies already got medium growth, and then we can really work with them to help them get to a higher level. Now, certainly we want to make sure that they got minority certification because that helps them grow as a business.
Well, as we talk about minority business and hear about the challenges that minority businesses face, with your experience, what have you seen some of the biggest challenges to be for minority businesses?
Well, certainly becoming well-known. Developing a portfolio that businesses can look at or government agencies can look at and determine that they are a viable business. Another hindrance is access to capital. A lot of companies have trouble trying to get capital or financing, and that's what we work with. We determine it. Of course, you have to look at their credit score, the collateral, and also the financing background in order to make a determination how we can assist them with financing.
Well, as we talk about the access to capital, generally in the process for maybe securing a loan or, getting the access to the capital, what's the process? How long does that normally take? I mean, is that a long process or?
It determines. Like I mentioned, when you do a determination of what their collateral is, their credit score, and also the financial background. We kind of do assessment based on their financial statements. And if they have all their financial statements and they have their credit at an acceptable level, it's not that long a process. But of course, each business is different. Each situation is different. And then it can vary. So it could be immediate or it can be long-term where we have to get more information. We have to build up their credit score and also determine how their business can go, what type of loan they're looking for, whether it's a large loan or a small loan.
So when we talk about access to capital and getting a loan and working with MBDA to help in that area, so is this monies or dollars that actually come from MBDA, or how does that work?
No, Don. What we do is we work with banks and we work with other financial institutions to facilitate them getting a loan. We don't provide direct financing. Not very many government agencies do that.
That doesn't come from the U.S. government treasury.
No.
Okay.
But you want to, if you're really a viable business, you want to establish a relationship with a bank, because then you can have a line of credit. So whenever you get a contract, you perform in the contract, if you need financing for another contract, you already develop that relationship with the bank where they're more amenable to providing financing for that contract.
So generally, it's much easier for a minority business to get a loan from a bank or from a traditional source when they have a relationship with like an MBDA or an organization like MBDA.
Yes, well, like I said, we really utilize a holistic type of service where we really try to gauge how you can grow as a business. And then we'll work with you to get you to that higher level. We've been very successful. I've worked with a lot of businesses where they started from initial business up to $1 million companies, but it took a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of diligence. And also from their perspective, they were very much engaged in trying to help their business grow at a higher level.
You know, as we talk about the loans and I guess terms of loan and what have you, are these loans that can be paid back over a long period of time, or is it a shorter period of time? I heard a guy mention one time that you can maybe get a loan for 25 years. Is that
Well, you really don't want to do that. You want to, try to, it depends on what you're looking for, but you want to try to pay it off as quick as possible. That way, that builds up your financial strength. It's just like a loan for buying a car or anything like this. The more you pay it off, or a house, the more equity you build. And that's the way you have to look at it as a business. It's all positioning and knowing how to utilize those resources, and then to grow with those resources.
Let's talk about MBDA a little bit more. And, when you started with MBDA years ago, how have you seen that change now? Have you seen a lot of change in MBDA over the years?
Yes. Well, of course, I've been through a lot of different administrations, a lot of different emphasis and things like this. And I know at one point we looked at international trade as one of our main focuses, and so we were very much engaged in international trade. Another one was high technology. We're very much engaged in technology and things of this. And then financing, we had one where we were looking at financing to help business get financing. And also where we actually looked at venture capital. And then we had a venture capital forum to identify businesses who had new technologies and things like this, where they couldn't get financing at a high level in the traditional means. So we had venture capitalists come in and try to finance them, help them with finances. But I think right now it's a point where we're looking at different aspects of growth, maybe technology. Technology has been very big. Construction right now is very big now. Transportation also. Surprisingly, you look at all the new emphasis on technology, particularly the bullet train, which is a new concept, which is going to be, it looks like Texas is going to have a bullet train in the future. That's going to create, from what I understand, where we had a summit on bullet train, and it's going to create something like 15,000 jobs. And then the aspect again from Dallas to Houston in an hour and 50 minutes, that's great because you're going to be able to do business from Houston to Dallas in a more rapid manner. Now, you're looking to also look at a different emphasis as far as international trade. We're very much involved in international trade also, and we've done trade missions to other countries. And actually, I'm on the board of U.S.-Mexico Chamber of Commerce, where we do trade missions to Mexico, and we also did trade missions to China. So that's another resource we help to build businesses.
You know, as you talk about the bullet train, what is the projected startup time for that? I know we've heard a lot about it, and so when is that going to come
They say
about?
like 2025.
2025.
Yes.
So
yes.
about 6 years away.
Yes. In fact, we have one company that's already looking at having some involvement in it. They actually do some fiber optics and things like this, and they've already contracted them. So they would be involved in the bullet train already. So certainly that's what we were trying to do, is to help position minority business to take advantage of this growth. Now, we are very much involved in a lot of different projects and developments. In fact, I just had a meeting with Mr. Hopton Hay. He's the hub director for UT Systems. And one of the projects I was involved with him was the development of the UT Southwestern. It's an $800 million contract. And he wanted to ensure that minority business were involved in the construction of that project. And other projects, we have other projects going on. So that's what we do as business centers, to position businesses to take advantage of all those opportunities.
Now, you mentioned hub certification or hub. What can you talk to that a bit? What does hub mean?
Yes. Well, there's actually 3 levels of minority certification. There's the local level, there's the state level, and the federal level. Now, at the local level, you're talking minority business enterprise or women business enterprise. Now, when you get to the state level, you're talking about the Historic and Utilized Business Program under the state of Texas, which is normally known as hub certification. And then the federal level is 8A certification. Now, we assist businesses with getting those certifications. Now, we also, as Don mentioned, we're operated by the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supply Development Council. And what they do is they develop relationships with major corporations like AT&T, American Airlines, Verizon, all the top corporations in the United States. They develop relationships with them and broker those relationships to offer opportunities to minority businesses. In addition, they certify minority business at the local level and the state level. So it's a good relationship between us and them because they can get certified at the local level and state level, and then we can utilize those certifications to assist businesses. Now, as far as 8A certification, we're planning to have 8A certification workshops where we can get minority businesses certified through the 8A certification program.
Let me ask you, Ray, you've been in this space for a long time. And so, from the standpoint of success stories, do we see more minority business success stories today than we have in past years? Is that growing, the minority business success stories?
Yes, I can give you so many success stories, but it's because the economy is so vibrant right now, and particularly in North Texas. I mean, there's so much growth in North Texas, so much opportunities in North, and certainly a lot of businesses have benefited from that, and they became very successful businesses. I can certainly give you a lot of examples. One company I worked with, she was Native American. She came to me about 7 years ago, and she wanted to start a construction company. And I worked with her, and certainly she had some problems, but initially, but we helped her build her capacity by introducing to Alaskan Native companies, which are the largest Native American-owned companies in the United States. And one of them took an interest in her company and decided that they wanted her to support her in Texas. And so whenever she had a big project, they would support her. In addition, she had trouble getting bonding. She couldn't get bonding. She had a federal government contract she was trying to work on, but she needed bonding in order to apply for the contract. We're able to work with a bonding agent who's one of our strategic partners, took a chance on her and bonded her. Well, from that, she has grown as a business. Now she's probably going to gross $20 million this year, gross $20 million, $30 million next year. And she's done probably $200 million worth of federal government contracts.
Ray, as you talk about certification and the hub certification and the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supply Development Council certification, does a minority-owned business have to be certified to do business or to seek the services of MBDA?
No, they don't. We will work with you if you're not certified, but it's really more of a benefit if you are certified, because we can really utilize the certification system to get you opportunities.
Well, as we talk about the different industries and the fact, as you say, there's so much growth in Texas, for minority business opportunity, particularly in the construction industry, and you mentioned technology and some of the other areas. In terms of the impact that minority businesses have realized from the growth of minority business, what does that impact look like for minority businesses?
Well, I got actually a fact paper here, and minority-owned businesses generate $1.4 trillion in annual gross receipts. And normally, minority businesses average $1.3 million in gross incomes. And so based on those statistics, you can see how minority businesses play a viable role in the American economy. And they're growing. This year. Now you're talking about next year, probably triple those figures. So definitely, this is a great time for minority businesses. When I talked to Mr. Hopton Hay, he mentioned that they have a lot of projects, but because companies have grown so large, they've got enough work as it is right now. So they're not even really seeking state government contracts. So that just tells you that there's a lot of opportunities, and I urge companies to take advantage of all those opportunities, and we're here to assist you to do that.
So the opportunities are really, really growing in minority business, and the prospects look real good. So a minority business that wants to seek out support or help from MBDA, what does that process look like? What do they need to do to get in touch with you to do that?
Well, I guess the thing is just to contact our office, but also we would like to urge you to work through the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supply Development Council, because there they can get you certified. Then we can really work with you. And then also the benefits of working with the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supply Development Council is they can also get you involved with corporate contracts. And then they also have a multitude of financial institutions they work with also. And then we can also look at the financing aspect of that also. Now, in relationship to your previous question, there's a lot of companies that go into other areas that you don't normally see. We have one company that we're working with is into electric charging stations. And we're very excited because now they not only have units, they manufacture their own units. And that's an emphasis right now is electric charging for cars. And so that's a really high growth company. We have other companies that do geotechnical type services. We have companies that do medical research. We have companies that provide medical supplies and laboratory supplies. So a lot of minority businesses are venturing to other areas, and that's great because they can take advantage of the growth of technology and research.
Absolutely. Well, Ray, thank you very much. So is there a website address that someone could go to look and get a feel for MBDA and how they get involved?
Yes. What they would need to go to is www.mbda.gov. And there they can see an overview of the Minority Business Development Agency. They also have a listing of all the various minority business centers throughout the country. And they also talk about the various initiatives that MBDA has currently going on, and also some of the events they have. We as an office also have a minority business development breakfast every month. So every second Thursday of the month, and we invite you to attend our breakfast. There you can network with various businesses. We also have resource partners who give presentations on the opportunities they have available. Our next breakfast is going to be on May 9th. There we have, we're going to have the Dallas County Procurement Office talk about their opportunities. And then we also have the University of Texas, Tyler, talk about their opportunities for minority businesses.
Great, great. Well, I will give your website address again. That's www.mbda.org. And,
.gov.
.gov.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
good. Thanks for clarifying that. Okay, so www.mbda.gov.
And
G-O-V.
also you can send me an email message, and I'll respond to you. It's very easy. It's Ray, R-A-Y, at mbdadallas.com.
Okay. Is it .com or
.com.
.com, okay. Very good. So is there a phone number they can call in on to contact you?
They can contact our office at area code 214-920-2436.
Okay, Ray. And then you also mentioned the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Business Development Council, and I have a number on them here. I think that number is 214-630-0747.
Exactly.
214-630-0747, and that's the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council.
Definitely. And it's a good organization. I urge you to contact them.
Ray, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your taking time from your busy schedule and the information that you shared with our audience. So we look forward to you joining us again real soon to talk about MBDA and minority business.
Thank you, Don.
Absolutely. And so we'd like to thank our audience for joining us today. Be sure and check us out next time here on Diversity Xtra, where we tell your story.